Hello guys, welcome back to the channel like after 9 years. And honestly, like usually before like I've had problems like videos don't publish. That's why I upload like a month late. But honestly like here I mean I can't blame it on like any excuse. And I gotta be honest, I had like a phase where like I was like, hey, I'm gonna quit YouTube. It's like what's good and what good is it gonna do me? And then I was like, what good is it gonna do me if I quit something? So I said, screw that. Let's make more videos. Anyway, so welcome back here. Today we're gonna be reading Diary of a Wimpy Big Shot, where we left off last time. And yeah, you guys unsubscribe like very fast. I used to have 103, I think. And now I have 97. And honestly, I can't blame you guys. And, I did not upload. I cannot blame you. So yeah, please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends and family. Let's get into it. Anyways, guys, so we're gonna pick up where we left off last time. So like a little summary, like we always do over here. Basically they're doing sports day in their school, and like Greg didn't really like sports, but he liked watching sports. But this time it was like, yeah, I'm gonna prove myself. I'm not gonna quit. Just like what I taught about YouTube. Anyways, yeah, like this little summary, we're competing with grown-ups, and there's the janitor's one to rice principal. Basically, the janitors participated. Okay, wait, in but the bathrooms started getting pretty gnarly after they spent all their time training. Blah blah. Okay, and now the lunch leaders are getting unadapt. So the cafeteria is basically turned into a gymnasium. The homeroom teachers are getting pretty spooked, so they start trading kids to improve their team's chances. Mr. Esper sent the fastest girl in our school, Ava Hollis, to Mrs. Joy's class, and he got Thomas Chef, who's apparently a specialist in the sponge toss. All this trading has gotten Mrs. Bosch thinking about making some moves of her own. Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. About like the Mr. Esperson, the fastest girl in school, and he got a specialist in the sponge toss. I don't know about you, but when I had sports days, running competitions were like a lot more value than putting sponges in a bucket. Why? Why did Mr. Esper have to trade somebody super fast? I don't know if Ava Hollis is really fast, but the fastest girl to get somebody who's really good at throwing sponges in buckets. It's just idiotic. Anyways, so Mrs. Bosch started thinking about making some moves of her own. She even gave me the job of scouting kids from some of the other homerooms to see who we should recruit for our team. That's why it stung when Mrs. Bosch traded me and two other kids for Jesse Range and threw in a pack of dry erase markers just to close the deal. That is just cruel. You hire someone to do your work for you. It's basically say we're back in like the 1700s or something. I don't know in what time. But like say we're in a time where slavery is still legal. You have a slave, not exactly a slave, but not exactly a slave, but like you've grown very close to them, and then you just sell them off into slavery. I know it's not like the same situation, but still just cruel. They help you, and you trade them. Anyways, yesterday was field day at school, and it started off with some controversy. Before the first bell, Mr. A gave Jesse Rain detention just so he could steal Jesse for his team. Okay, first of all, I don't think detention should really be like a team. Because if you look at it, it's not really a homeroom. As far as I remember, like only homerooms were allowed to participate. Like, with an exception for the janitors and lunch ladies. So that plus, you gotta have like a good reason to give him detention. You can't just be like, okay, everybody who's good in the school, come to me. You all have detention. You can't just do that. So that meant Mr. Ray's team was totally stacked, and the rest of us didn't stand a chance. Before field day kicked off, Mrs. Epstein gathered her team on the playground to go over strategy and make some last-minute adjustments. But I still couldn't figure out why she wanted me and those other two kids instead of Jesse Range. Well, really, it depends, like, on tactics. Like, I mean, if you look at it in like a war kind of point of view, would you rather have like one big hulking tank that like could easily be taken down and people are already training for, or would you rather have like three like movable units? It's basically the Napoleonic Wars again. Now I'm not gonna go in detail about that, but I mean Napoleon's forces were fast, and like the Allied forces were, and I mean the Allied forces were slow. So I mean, I'd say that's why she traded you. I was only signed up for one event, which was a three-legged race. My partner was Madison Burke, who was about a foot taller than me, which made things kinda awkward. But when the race started, I finally understood Mrs. Epstein's strategy. She didn't trade for me because I'm fast. She traded for me because I'm light. Scream! Me and Madison took first place, and our team was off to a good start. But we had a big setback a few minutes later when Marcelo Romero rolled an ankle in the sack race. It turns out Delansley left some potatoes in a few of the sacks. I'll bet that wasn't an accident. Marcelo was supposed to run the 50-yard dash next, and all the other kids on our team were in the middle of events. So Mrs. Epstein told me I was going to have to fill in for him. I got second last place because I was still kind of banged up from the three-legged race, but I can't really run fast unless I'm motivated. The fastest I've ever run was when I got chased by Roderick after he stepped in dog poop, and I laughed at him. I guarantee you, if someone had been timing me that day, I would have clocked in at cheetah speed. Eek! Okay, first of all, why isn't the mother doing anything about this? I mean, imagine you're a mom and like one of your kids is chasing the other kid with a shoe of dog poop. Like, I mean, you're just like, oh, they grow up so fast. Will we just do that? Like, I mean, where was the mother? The only reason I didn't get last place in the 50-yard dash was because as soon as the race started, Jesse Range fell flat on his face. And when that happened, I figured he must have tripped on shoelaces or something. Ugh, splap. Okay, first of all, I mean, if somebody trips on their shoelaces, like during like a competitive race, they won't just stay down for like the whole race unless like it's a serious injury. Like, I mean, if it's serious, then of course they'll need medical attention. But if it isn't, like, you just get up. I mean, Jesse Range, he was an athletic dude. I, I mean, when I first saw this, I was just like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. But yeah, anyway. But it turns out he got paid to take a dive. And no one would have found out if Vice Principal Roy hadn't caught him red-handed after the race, accepting his payment behind the school. Aha! Okay, first of all, I don't know how much money that is, and I don't know if they have $1 bills in the U.S. And I'm pretty sure they don't. I think it's like the same euro system in France, like $5 bills, 10, 20. So the lowest that can be is $5. I mean, $5 for acting like you tripped. That is a good deal, I must say. Jesse didn't want to get suspended, so he gave up the kids who were in on the betting scheme. And those guys had a whole gambling operation running out of the AV closet on the second floor. Sponge toss, 4-1. Wheelbarrow race, 3-1. Tug of war, 6-1. Tree, I'm assuming it says three-legged race. Okay. Okay, so my first question, it says Jesse didn't want to get suspended, so he gave up the kids who were in on the betting scheme. So that means the principal gave him a choice: either tell on the kids who like were betting, or get suspended. So like, I mean, it's basically like it's telling, okay, so he did something really wrong that basically violated school rules. Tell who else did it, and you won't be punished. And I don't get it. The rest of Mr. A's team was cheating too, but that didn't surprise anyone. Those kids had stored their water balloons in the cafeteria freezer, and the only reason they got caught is because George Ralston knocked Mikey Ardala out cold with a bat throw in the balloon toss. Clunk! Ouch, I must say. Ouch. Ouch. Mrs. Bosch's team won Beanbag Bingo, and that put them ahead in the standings for a while. But then Mr. Chow's team had back-to-back victories in the water bucket relay and the sponge toss, and so then they took the lead. The janitors team started moving up in the rankings. Well, hold on, wait. Mr. Chow's team had back-to-back victories in the water bucket relay and the sponge toss. But I don't remember who it was, but I think it was Mrs. Joy. Mrs. Joy, like, no wait. Yeah, Mr. Okay, I'm just gonna go back. Wait. Getting pretty spooked. Wait, where was the part where he traded like the fastest? Oh, here it is. So yeah, Mr. Esper sent the fastest girl in our school, Eva Hollis, to Mrs. Joy's class, and he got Thomas Chef, who's apparently a specialist in the sponge toss. So Mr. Esper got a specialist in the sponge toss, but it did him no good because he gave the fastest girl in the school, and she may have won the 50-yard sprint, but he decided not to, and somebody else won, even though he was a specialist. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but just wanted to point it out. Okay, the janitor team started moving up in the rankings, and they probably would have taken the top spot if Mr. Washington's arm hadn't given during the wheelbarrow race. Oof! The final event was a tug of war, and it came down to Mrs. Bosch's teams versus the lunch ladies. I thought Mrs. Bosch's team was going to win for sure, but the lunch ladies outlasted them thanks to a solid job of anchoring by Mrs. Frawley. Well, they tied Mrs. Frawley to the end of the rope. This is a perfect example of work smart, not hard. When we got back to our classrooms after the competition, we were all bummed that the cafeteria ladies would want to win the day off from school. And we were nervous because we heard the janitors would have to fill in for them during lunch. Sploop, munch. Today's special, meet the surprise. But I guess the school knew it was going to be an ugly scene. So right before the last bell rang, Vice Principal Ward made an announcement that everybody would be getting Friday off. Nice. Anyways, guys, bye. I hope you liked this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and share this with your friends and family. Animation was made by Animaker.